Hey friends. kind of interesting that that's what comes out of me today, because I sat down at the piano right before doing this post, and my hand just played I put my hand on the keyboard and just played a random phrase, and it turned out to be the beginning, first few notes of a Bach two-part invention, the very first. Etc. And so I thought maybe that's a provocation. Maybe that's a nugget to work with. And the reason why that feels serendipitous, as the music often does on these posts, I've almost gotten to where if I have any lack of clarity about what I intend to say, I simply go to the music. I just play. And because music is a different language than English, than human verbal language, it's almost like the intention behind what needs to be expressed starts to show up in a way that my mind doesn't have access to. My mind can't get there thinking in language. So I kind of dive into music, and it just unpacks the thing for me. And usually, not always, but usually at the end of that, I also am able to come back with more verbal clarity and actually speak about the thing that's trying to be expressed, because now I've become more conscious of it and I can put it into words. But there's this intervening step where running it through another language, particularly a non-literal, non-verbal language like music, is really helpful. And so today, what I was showing up to talk about is languages. And one of the things that provoked this is we just had a friend come in town for about a week, a good friend of ours from Germany, who's a contact from some training that Katie did a few years ago. But having somebody in the house who speaks German, which is also a language that I grew up speaking, it's like something happens when I start to speak that language. And it's almost like parts of my personality become activated, even if I haven't, and it's not enough to just say a German sentence or two. I have to be in conversation for a little while. But then it's like a part of my brain or a part of my psyche wakes up, and all of a sudden I'm another personality. That part of me that grew up in that country and that learned where I learned a lot of my early communication skills in that language, that part of me reactivates. And before I know it, I'm perceiving the world differently, literally. I see the world, the world looks different from the point of view of that personality. And I don't think it's quite to like a split personality level. And I think anyone who's bilingual or speaks more than one language, more than two languages really fluently would be able to relate to this, because languages are like lenses. Languages are lenses. We know this from all of the tremendous study and philosophical kind of linguistic research that was done way back in the day by structuralists like Levi Strauss, who started to understand what we say about the world is not just us describing the world. What we say about the world determines what we see. So we have this false perception that I use language to describe what I see. What's actually the case is that the learning of perception and expression are so intertwined that the way I learn to express what I see actually affects what I see. And, and then I've done a fair amount of kind of, I wouldn't call it research, although I think it rises to the level of research in some cases, as to how this has an effect on the way that different cultures perceive reality. Different historical time periods perceive reality. Different genders perceive reality. But language is one of the most... Our languages they're our lenses, they're our building blocks. And so it's just been really enjoyable to dive into this language that's kind of at the heart of my childhood and connects me with an era, an entire epoch of my life that happened a long time ago, but that still feels quite rich and really quite present to me. It feels like it was a long time ago, because it was, but it doesn't feel removed. It feels like it's part of me, but not an active part of me until I go back into that language. And so then I show up today, and I kind of had a loosely formed thought about how this feeling of being in another language has really kind of enriched me over the last few days, just the last week or so. And immediately, but I didn't really have a clearly formed idea, and so I go to music, and the music, as I'm somehow channeling expression through a truly nonverbal, truly abstract, but yet but a language that does have very clear meaning, all of a sudden that idea forms itself. And now I know that I'm talking about languages or lenses. Languages are perceptions of the world. And I think, it's one of the things I tell most of my piano students is, when we learn music, we're learning to see reality differently. We are literally going to perceive reality slightly differently for having come into such close relationship with the nature of sound vibration, the organization of sound vibrations, right? Spending a little time there actually alters reality. Sounds like a big thing to say, but I'm pretty convinced that it's not untrue. This is not an exaggeration. It's very evident when we speak more than one verbal language, but it's at least as evident even in the short-term experience of music, what immersing ourselves in vibration, in sound vibration, can do after an hour. Spend an hour at the piano, see what the world looks like afterwards. These are powerful effects, and I think I'm registering my own appreciation for that over the last couple of days, because it's been a big experience for me. It's kind of a wake up call in many ways. Like, there's a part of me that really wants to live, has a lot of enthusiasm for being active. So how can I find my platform for that, relationships for that? And if this, I guess what I would offer other people, what I would offer you is consider what ways and what languages you speak. What are some of the languages you know? And how do those impact what your perception of the world? What changes in the way we perceive the world through the lens of a different language? What I got today. Thanks, folks. Appreciate you. Wonderful day. Thanks again to, I think it's Kendall Kelly, who gave me a message yesterday about removing the date from my videos. Love it. My God, this is beautiful feedback. Thank you. Look forward to next time. Have a good day. See you soon.